This is a video about Arteza water brushes. Many months ago, I cannot remember how long ago exactly, but it's been quite a while since Arteza sent me these water brushes, and I believe I did a first impression video, I think. But as you know, I do not do reviews unless I have used materials extensively. And as you can see it in the tip of these brushes, because the more you use them, the more they pick up the colors with which you paint. The colors stain the brush, and I have been using them a lot last summer, and that is why I feel that I am able to do a good review right now. The set that I received was a set of 4. 2 have the same size, small, and the other ones are medium and large. And I have used them all 3, but the smaller one I haven't used that much. I have been mainly using the medium size and the slightly larger one. And well, I'm going to show you how it works and tell you what I think about them. And I'll pick an Inktense pencil, water soluble, to just show you how these brushes work. And I'm sure you already know what water brushes work like, but these Inktense brushes, they have one feature that I particularly like when I use Inktense. My brush, let's clean it before I use it. As you can see, the hairs, they stain when you use it, and that is not uncommon. I have more different brands in these water brushes, and they all stain, so that is normal. So you squeeze a little bit over here, and then water comes out, and then you can add the water. Now, the main thing that is different from the other brushes that I have is that these Arteza brushes, when you squeeze, the brush gives quite a lot of water, quite a lot. And when I do detailed work, I don't like that, but I have had many occasions, for example when I do sketching outdoors and I just want to do a quick sky, and then I need quite a lot of water. And then my Pentel water brushes, which I love, they have trouble giving the enough amount of water. And these Arteza brushes, they do pretty good. Now, another art material that I like using with quite a lot of water are these Inktense pencils and blocks. Especially the Inktense, I want to use quite a lot of water, and with these Arteza brushes that goes a lot easier. So I'm really very happy about this water brush. You can open it here. It works exactly the same as the other brands, like this. You put water in here, then you close it, so that all works very well. There's another thing that's very important when it comes to water brushes, and that has to do with this ring here. There is it's open here, and this is important. I have one pencil brand that doesn't have that, and when you squeeze a water brush, when you release the squeeze, so to speak, it will suck up air, and you want the brush to suck up air over here. But there's one pencil brand that doesn't have tiny holes here, and that pencil brand sucks up the air through the hairs of the brush, and that results in that the brush sucks up the pigment that is in the brush, and eventually the pigment will end up in your water reservoir here, and you will have dirty water, and that's not what you want when you go painting. You want clean water here at all times. So that's very important, and this Arteza brand did the right thing. It sucks up the air here and not through the brush. Very, very important. I think that is one of the most important things. Then there is another thing, and that is, does the brush keep a fine tip also when you have used it a lot? And that is the only downside of this brush. The tip, I think you can see, there's a tiny little hook in it. That tiny little hook. And that's the only tiny little problem, because when I want to do very detailed work, this hook is a little problem. That's the only downside. So for sketching and doing the less detailed work, these Arteza pens, water brushes, are just wonderful. There you are. Now let's pick a brush that I haven't used that much. That's this one, the smaller Arteza, and as you can see, this tip is still perfect. So if you choose to buy these Arteza water brushes, it might be handy to keep one brush, to not use them all together at once, but keep one so you can use that one, the less used one, to paint the detailed work. Okay, now, well, let's do some painting. I am working on this little painting with Derwent Inktense pencils and the Arteza water brushes. And this is going to be, I hope it will going to be a bee on blue flowers. So I'm slowly building up the tones. As you know, I love layering colors, and that is a very time consuming hobby, but I just love doing it. So let's continue. Excuse me, there was a little hiccup. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a little bit of pigment on the paper, and then I will start using the water brush. Here I have a color called Spring Green. I'm going to use that here. If you are familiar with the Derwent Inktense, then you know that the pencils and the blocks are very strongly pigmented. There's a lot of pigment in it. So I squeeze the brush a little bit and I put it to work. This is the brush with the tiny hook and the tip, So I need to take that into account, but as you can see, it works pretty good, no problem at all. And when it comes to Inktense, it's the way I use it is it's very important that there is enough water, because otherwise when the pigment, the Inktense pigment, when it dries, the lines that will occur if you haven't diluted it enough, there may hard lines may occur, and you will never be able to get rid of them again. And that is a different story when it comes to watercolor paint, because watercolor paint in most cases, once it has dried on the paper, you can still re-wet it and move it around for a second or maybe even a third time. With Inktense that is not the case, so it is important that there is enough water on the paper so I have time to work the pigment before it has dried. And that is why these Arteza brushes are my first choice when it comes to painting with Inktense. So I had never ever thought that that would happen, but let's pick another color in the meantime. 10. Let's put a little bit of color on the bee. I was always very happy with my Pentel water brushes. So far they were the best, but once I started using them with Inktense, I immediately felt, oh dear, I need a water brush that releases more water. And then these Artezas came. Wow, it's just a perfect match. It's very nice. I hope I will be able to turn this bee into an actual bee. I'm not convinced it's going to happen, but hey, as long as we have fun, everything is okay. Let's zoom in a little bit so you can see a little bit more about how I use the brush. So I'm just adding pigment here, a little bit of pigment here. And here we have the brush again. Maybe you can hear it outdoors, there are sirens. We are living close to the freeway, so we have a lot of, we hear sirens quite often. Look at that. Now let's add a little bit of color over here. So I will pick a blue tone. How about this one? Deep blue. And I will place it here around this stamen. This is a stamen from the other flower. So as you can see, although this is pretty detailed work, the fact that the brush loses its fine tip is not a great problem for me. Not at all. And here you can see there's enough water so it doesn't dry instantly, and I have time to work the pigment, and that's really very, very important. For me it's important. I don't like those hard lines most of the time. There's a stamen here too. Okay, let's pick another color. I would like to have some green, Ionian green. If you have followed my channel, you know that my way of painting and coloring is quite a slow way, because I love the layering and that takes lots and lots of time. Let's add a little bit more water, and that is really the main plus. The main pro for this brush is that it gives water so easily. It's just wonderful. Look, right now the tip of the brush is almost like a chisel. That's okay for me, no problem. If I need really extra detailed work, I pick another brush. I pick the Pentel brush, because the Pentel brush does keep its tip better than this Arteza brush, but it's fine with me. So let's add a little bit more. I'm not going to show you everything, because I need many hours of work to make this painting happen, and I'm going slow for a reason, and that is that I'm learning while I am painting. So I'm learning about the Derwent Inktense. I'm learning about just building up this painting, so I'll take my time. But it's a great joy. It really is. And well, all I can say is that Derwent Inktense and Arteza water brushes are a match made in heaven for me. I do use water brushes more than the conventional brushes with the pot of water. I do have beautiful brushes, but the fact that this water brush has its water inside, I love it. I love it. Because all those times that I had to pick up water, and then the water becomes, you have water in a pot, in a jar, and then the water becomes dirty, and then I have to change the water, and the brush falling off. you know, then I put it somewhere and then it falls down, and it's just so these water brushes are really I think it's a great invention. It really is. So let's zoom. Oh, I'm zoomed out already. So as you can see, this is how I work with the Arteza brushes. Can I recommend them? Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. So I'm going to put a link in the description of this video, and I can absolutely say yes, buy these. I love them. I use them almost on a daily basis. When I paint, I very often use these Arteza. So it's really a very nice water brush. So I've been using them for months now. So there's nothing breaks, they just keep working perfectly. The only thing, as I mentioned, is that they lose their fine tip. But I have Caran d'Ache water brushes that use their fine tip as well. So even the best brands can have that. Only the Pentel do not have that. My Pentel brushes are still having their fine tip. So, but as I said, it's not that big of a deal for me. So, okay, I hope this was helpful for you, this information. I will put the link in the description of this video, and I wish you happy coloring, happy painting, and see you in the next episode. Bye bye.